time as well as home cooked food.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think everybody's become chefs at home right now.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
started
absolutely.
cooking like the most, like whatever the dishes that they would go outside and eat, they've all started cooking at home now, getting all the ingredients and making their own meal.
Absolutely. The stories and everything are loaded these days with just new recipes and everything.
Yeah. And the good part is, I think all the husbands and all the boys in the house have started doing all the work. Everybody's been contributing.
Everyone's become experts.
Absolutely. That's true.
The good thing
But
about one more good thing is that because people have not been going out so much, the skin has also been really nice and
um,
clean. The sun exposure is really less. Holidays, beach holidays, all that has gone down.
no. That's true. Less acne and less pimples because of no fried food, no outside spicy food available anymore.
True. So, looking at the optimistic side, I think it's a very good habit.
Yeah. Just difficult to accept it, I guess. Definitely good, but difficult.
Yeah, true.
Being a big money savior as well.
Ah, yeah. That yeah, I think. I don't know, like out here things are pretty much back to normal. Life is pretty much back to normality in the past 5 months now.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, there's been no cases here, and even initially when the world was actually facing and they had so many cases, here it was pretty safe. We never had a lot of cases, and we never had that entire thing that you have to wear a mask, you have to carry sanitizers with you wherever you go. We've never had those things here, so
Okay.
I haven't really experienced the core of Corona yet.
Yeah, it's
No,
still quite
it's
a big
taught
issue.
people a lot of discipline. Like people have become very disciplined in sanitization. The hygiene levels have improved a lot,
Yeah.
and every place that you step in now in India is 5 times more or 10 times more cleaner than it used to be earlier. So it's a good thing.
Uh, that's true. There's a lot of positives as well.
Yeah.
A lot more positives in,
Agree.
in the current situation. But I think the most important thing is that Corona has actually taught everybody that we're all flexible and we're all very adaptable if we want to be. If it's forced on us, we've all become adaptable to the current situation.
So
Because
true.
if
Very true. Many
otherwise,
lifestyle changes have come up, which people have really adapted very well, I would say. Work from home has become the new culture.
Yeah.
And
correct,
everybody can take care of everything, I feel now.
correct. So
Virtual
today, since
meetings, virtual weddings, everything
yeah,
is happening. Actually, the virtual world has kind of taken over the real.
true. And since we are all here, because today is literally we're going to talk about menopause, and a lot of people have gone through it, a lot of people are going to go through it, something that's going to be a constant in everybody's life. So, how do you all feel to be here today to talk about the topic menopause?
It's absolutely a great honor to talk about this important topic because menopause is part of every woman's life. And getting them aware about these adaptable changes is very important. And it's a great honor to be here today.
Okay.
Thank you
And
for
Shaili, how do you
giving us
feel?
this platform to express our views and trying to help everyone on our opinion about menopause and how to deal with it.
Hmm, that's true. But how do you guys feel? Like, do you think that it's very important and like make sure that everybody's aware that it's not something bad or you're not supposed to get scared or afraid because it's just a way of life? Or y'all think that no, you actually have to take care when you're going through this phase? What do y'all think? What are your opinions?
So, if you ask me, I would first say that it is definitely a phase of life. Like for every woman, as we are growing in our growing phase, we come across different phases in life, like menarche, teenage. Then you have pregnancy. then menopause. And each stage does bring a lot of changes in the body, and we need to adapt to those changes in the right way. And if taken care from, when it's like stitch in time saves nine. So if you take care from the beginning, you don't need to really worry about it or stress about it too much.
Correct, correct,
Just
correct.
need to be
That's true.
aware and careful. Yeah.
So I totally agree with Shelly as she said that it's very right that this is a phase that's going to be there, and if you're well prepared, like
Hmm.
if you're really prepared well with your right nutrition, right supplementation or exercise, all the other lifestyle modifications right through your teenage, I'm not saying about that also. I would say even during the phases that a woman phases through, okay, there's some kind of a family support also along, because there's a lot of things that happens within a woman's body. It's not just physiological, it's
Correct,
psychological, emotional, mental disturbance, everything that she goes through. So like
correct.
pregnancy, everybody can relate. Yeah, it's okay, there are a lot of mood swings, there are a lot of hormonal changes. People are ready to accept how that she is going to be a little cranky, but then people aren't
Correct.
ready to accept that she can be cranky at her menopausal phase also, right?
Yeah.
We do have women in our house who are like at an elderly age, they're going through different mood swings. Suddenly I see my mother, now she was happy, no, I don't know what happened to her suddenly. And then I have
Hmm.
to, it's okay, let her take time, it's
Yeah.
okay, give us some time. This is what I think today's generation or everybody around should be aware of. Give them some time, let them adapt, and if there is a correct nutrition and everything happening right along with her, she'll be able to cope with it better. She requires a family support also along with this.
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah.
So I think the awareness and all is extremely important, and that's why we are here today.
Yeah.
So I that was great. Thank you so much, Shaili and Neha, for your opinion and how the kind of perceptions that each one of us have about this particular thing called menopause.
Yeah.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of our webinar today. My name is Kavisha Sangvi, and I'm an image consultant and a soft skills trainer. I have my training company called Marks Impressions, where we actually help individuals grow from who or what they are to where they actually want to be in life and help them achieve their goals. We provide end-to-end consultations and end-to-end trainings. And usually the trainings are on topics like leadership, emotional intelligence, confidence building, how to deal with situations, how to deal with relationships. Technically, all the behavioral topics, they actually come under soft skills, and we curate it as per their requirement, the individual requirements. So it's basically a development of an individual inside out. So today we're going to talk about menopause, which everybody is aware about. But before that, have you all ever realized that most women look into the mirror and they try to find faults with themselves? Even though there's nothing, then they'll still be like, they'll want to point it out. There's something wrong. They're never happy to accept that, okay, this is who I am, and I'm happy with who I am. Most part of the insecurity that all of us have is what the society has created, and the balance could be science. What does that mean? It is just not like, everything that society has imbibed and we just go by those words or by those principles. But there's a lot of science related to all our thoughts, which sometimes we need to make sure and deep dive into, which we will be doing today. Women go through puberty, they go through motherhood, but it doesn't really end there, right? Like there's menopause, which everybody is scared of, everybody is afraid of. Many women don't like to talk about it either because it's too painful or it's an inbuilt fear. Now, why are they scared? Why do they have this thing that, oh, like, I'm gonna go through this? Why are they cribbing over it? It's just a normal thing. It's just a normal way of life. They're normally scared because either they do not have that much knowledge of it, or they do not even have the exposure of it. They're not aware that now people have accepted us. And this is something that I would like to bring light upon. It's just like breast cancer. probably 20 years back or 30 years back, nobody was really open about breast cancer. They didn't want to talk about it openly. They didn't want to have conversations. But now, today, when we look at this age, we're just like, oh my God, like this is breast cancer month. Let's support each other. Let's talk about breast cancer. How we've actually evolved so much about breast cancer that all of us have become so normal and we're just talking about it very casually. So whenever somebody is looking at a particular color, which is pink, you'll relate it to breast cancer because all of us have evolved and it has become very normal and it's become a way of our life. So this month, October, is actually celebrated as World Menopause Month. And today, 18th of October, the reason that we're actually going to talk about menopause is because it's World Menopause Day. It's something that let's all be proud about this thing that we go through this phase of life. To celebrate this, we are proud to associate today with Femerla India, an initiative of Swizera Healthcare, to share that knowledge and ask the experts at this panel on how women can chin up, look beautiful, and overcome the fear of menopause. Rather, just celebrate it, be open about it. Sharing that knowledge and helping thousands of women in India is what we're best at. So we've got two speakers today with us. We've got Dr. Shaili Sanghvi and Neha Mittal. Dr. Shaili Sanghvi is a co-founder and a consultant as a cosmetologist with over 10 years of experience in aesthetic cosmetology with 5 years in Tender Skin International in Mumbai and Dubai. He has partnered with a brand to create one-of-a-kind skincare experience with the wedding clinic. To her, skincare is intrinsic to the overall well-being of an individual. She is all about striking the perfect balance, whether it's managing a 5-year-old to an 80-year-old, traveling across the globe, making time for herself in this busy schedule, and also taking out time and baking some cute cupcakes for her little one. And on the other side, we've got Neha Mittal. She is a clinical nutritionist and weight management specialist having vast experience working with different gyms and corporate companies. She has been working with a wedding clinic since the past 2 years. She advises clients on nutritional principles, diet modifications, and food selection in order to lead a healthy lifestyle and achieve a specific health related goal. She provides guidelines for preventions and treatment of illness and lifestyle disorders. She provides with the aesthetic nutrition plans for all the skin and hair care and special glow tips to the brides. She actually has her own fitness mantra, which is called as creating habits but not restrictions. So before we move on and start shooting questions with the two experts that we have today, I would just like to tell everybody that everybody is going to be on mute. So feel free to drop down your questions on the chat box. We are going to address all the questions. You can ask us as many questions as you all have. But let's stick to the questions which are related to skincare and nutrition because that is the topic for today. How menopause has its effect on our skin and on our diet. And let's try and stick to those aspects rather than having very technical questions because we will be addressing those in particular. So, Dr. Shaili, what are the normal skin problems women have when they actually hit menopause?
Hi everyone. Uh, so as we all know, estrogen is one of the hormones that plays a key role in our body. And during menopause, there is a sudden decline in this hormone. So the first thing that we see is that your thermostat resets, and you start experiencing one of the most common symptoms, which I'm sure most of us would have heard from our fellow women who've come across this phase of menopause. That is the hot flushes. So that is one of the first and the most common symptoms that come up. The next most important thing is which concerns most of the women across the globe is aging, because with age and with menopause setting in specifically and the hormonal changes in the body, the skin elasticity drops, the fat pads start to descend because of the changes in the body during the menopausal age. And you can start seeing the sagging, fine lines, wrinkles, everything starts, your skin starts becoming more dry, and that is why the wrinkles and the fine lines and all the signs of aging start appearing, coming up to the surface much more. The dryness is also because of the, again, the hormonal changes and the imbalance in the body that causes dryness as well. So it's very important to hydrate during this phase. Keep use a very good moisturizer. A night serum really helps to replenish the hydration and the moisture that has been lost from the skin. So that is there. Then again, like along with elasticity, the other important aspect is the collagen. Like we know that 80% of the skin is made up of these collagen and elastin fibers. So with menopause setting in, the collagen fibers start dropping, and about 30% of your collagen is reduced during the menopausal age. So it is very important to, again, take the right supplements and get your collagen levels up, and use skincare products along with antioxidants and tablets which help you with improving the supplementation and the nutritional level of the skin. Another thing is the age spots and the pigmentation issues that start coming up. So along with dry skin, the photosensitivity of the skin gets affected. Like now during the menopausal age, when you are exposed to sun, the way the skin reacts is much different than what it used to react pre-menopausal age. That's again because of the changes in the body and the dryness as well. So there are these spots that start appearing. If you see that there are flat, small, brownish spots that start coming up, freckles become more prominent. Then you see these cafe au lait spots around the cheeks, the neck area, and upper chest. So these are called as age spots. So again, we need to, kind of prevent them. Very commonly, we've seen these butterfly pigmentation and patches around the on the cheekbones, which I think is one of the major concerns for women. Is that we need to lighten these because they're very prominent and right there in the face. So again, we need to use the right skincare regime. Probably do some treatments. Start it in time. I will address to it very soon as we move forward on what all different treatments and home care that we can do, and what are the supplements that we would recommend which will help your skin, and not only the skin but overall health.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
sorry, before we move ahead, yes, one more point is that the hair starts thinning while your scalp hair starts thinning. So you need to take care of your skin health, your hair health, and also unwanted hair that starts appearing on the face. So facial hair and unwanted hair, especially around your upper lips and chin area, sometimes extending down lower down to the neck. So these need to be taken care as well.
okay. So now that you mentioned about supplements, Shaili, do you actually think that having supplements help to maintain good skin? Do you think it's related? It'll help.
Definitely, Kavisha. I very strongly believe that the right nutrition and the right supplements are very essential for the body. And Neha would definitely throw some more light towards this point. But see, as women, the diet and we in our busy schedule, we are not able to concentrate on our diet as much and get exact nutritional levels of almost all the micro ingredients that are required and essential for the body at the right age. So that's the reason that we need to top our regular diet up with a little bit of supplements, antioxidants. I always advise my clients that you need to choose the right antioxidants and have them regularly, not just buy them and keep them stacked up in your shelves, but pay attention to the antioxidants. Have collagen supplements because collagen does, it plumps up your skin and it makes your skin tight. The sagging, the signs of aging are taken care of. like I mentioned, that the estrogen levels, drop during menopause. So we need to help maintain the collagen levels in your skin. So eating the right foods with the right antioxidants, omega 3 and high protein content is another thing that we should look at in these supplements. And we're happy to have Femoral with us, which has a very good vegetarian source of these supplements, and it works really well. It will help as a great anti-aging supplement as well, and at the same time prevent the pigmentation because of the antioxidants, that is the flaxseed oil, which is a very strong and rich antioxidant present in
Okay.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shaili. So, yes, like she mentioned, supplements are the best. So, we've actually got a product which is called Femoral. It is recommended for non-hormonal option in menopausal symptoms. It is a product that is recommended for women starting in the perimenopause stage, that is before the actual onset of the menopause and onwards. So this is one of a product that we have, and I think we're going to talk more about this product. But before I throw some more light onto this, I have a few questions for Neha. Neha, why is nutrition so important for women who are going through menopause?
So, Kavisha, as we all know, menopause is a phase of cessation of your menstrual cycle, such a periods forever.
Hmm.
So, it takes a long time for a woman to even enter this phase. That's called as the perimenopausal phase, which is like, the women has to go through this, not a direct that, your periods would stop. So there are a lot of hormonal changes, physiological changes that happen in your body, and that's the perimenopausal phase where your periods go irregular. There are hot flushes, as Shelly maintained. There are, more of night sweats also coming up. Then people even go through insomnia, depression, mood swings. Sudden weight gains are happening. These are many different kind of physiological changes, along with the emotional changes that come up.
Hmm.
And during the menopausal and the perimenopausal phase, if a woman is not with the correct nutrition, the body cannot cope with all these changes that easily. So, as we all know, what does menopause? That time, your estrogen and progesterone levels, they both are going to drop down. They lower down in your system. And once the estrogen lowers down, the absorption of many other nutrients is impacted. So women are always at an advantage, even if their appetite is less, their intake is less, but their absorption capacities are much better than men at the other phases of life because they have estrogen, especially considering to iron, calcium, proteins. Their estrogen is kind of a factor that helps the absorption of these nutrients. But when the estrogen drops down, it also increases the risk of many other lifestyle diseases, the age-related diseases. So, majorly concerning about osteoporosis, cardiovascular diseases. Then you have stroke, hypertension coming in, then diabetes. These are all age related risk also, but as well lower estrogen related risk also. So if a woman is well nutrition nourished, she is not going to suffer all these much if she's having a good antioxidant diet. As Shelly mentioned, her free radical fighting capacity would be quite better, which would help flush out the toxins from her body, which would help her for her aging process, which would help keep all her cells. Basically, if your cells are nourished and healthy, every system is going to work perfect. Let it be from your cardiovascular system to your renal systems or your birth procedures which were there throughout your life. Everything works throughout your nutrition. And if your cells are absolutely nourished, there's no other harm. A woman who is well nourished with her proteins is going to have a better coping up capacity because you know what, during menopause, even women are going to complain that, their energy levels are dropping down, they feel lethargic, they are, slowing down with their capacity, work capacity majorly. Power output is quite less. That's because their muscle mass is going down. As we age, there is degeneration already happening after 50. Plus, menopause is also reducing their muscle mass. So that's why a good protein diet is very important. Like for your skin, it is, as Shelly mentioned. But even for your other body parts, your organs, your bones, your muscles, everything requires working. Then it's going to be very important for your hormones to function properly. Hormones are also protein in nature. So your hormones are also balanced well with a high protein diet. So it's very important right from your perimenopausal phase, the proteins are included. The women also suffer from a lot of gastric disturbances during these phases. Sometimes they suddenly go gassy, and you will even see women coming here. I never suffered acidity or a gastric issue. But I don't know why suddenly at age of 50 have started suffering constipation or gases or acidity issues. These are the gastric disturbances that keep happening with them during this phase. Because with the lower estrogen levels, the gastric mobility is also hampered. So that's how the comes in important picture is your probiotics. So if a diet that's rich in probiotics and prebiotics, probiotics are the live cultures coming through the curd, yogurts, basically, and some artificial sources of your tablets. And the prebiotics are your grains, fiber coming through your fruits and vegetables, legumes. These are all which is going to help your bacteria go more better, enrich the gut bacteria. So if you're going through the perimenopausal phase and the menopausal phase, here is the most important nutrition aspect, that you can supply estrogen through your diet. The women are going low on their estrogen. We agreed now why estrogen is so important in all this talk, right? But now how do we take care of this low estrogen levels, right? This is another major concern by women. We know that it is very important for your bone health, it is important for your muscle mass, it is important for your skin, your emotional well-being, hormonal balance, insulin sensitivity. You can avail these estrogens in form of phytoestrogen, which is available in foods like soy. All the soy products like soya bean, soya chunks, your soy milk, tofu, all these can help you get phytoestrogen, which is then converted into estrogen in your body. So this is a very great benefit for the women. And anything that's providing with tofu or soya supplementation is also very good. Then the flax seeds are very important for their mood tackling. Depressions and the mood imbalance, it is very much related, and it can be taken care by your omega-3 fatty acids. Women are even more prone for CVDs, your cardiovascular diseases post menopause. So omega-3 fatty acids play again important role there, which you could avail from either the fish oil or the flaxseed oil. So you could even go from the hemp seed oil or the other more, there are many more market supplements available also for this. And as I've read for the femoral contents, what you just mentioned, it has good tofu and flaxseed oil, which is a vegan source of omega-3 as well as phytoestrogen. So
Yeah.
I would say it's an amazing thing. And since nowadays we are even, concerned about the fat fish. Fish
Yes.
fat is another thing about the contamination. So then we are even worried, like where was it availed and the kind of contaminations which is happening, plus the kind of animal harm which is happening. So most of the people are shifting towards the vegan source of flaxseed oil for omega-3 fatty acids.
Correct.
Yeah, so the fish which is being taken, it's not really you can trust on always. And then there is again a big question on that, that whether they really want to get. And today in the world, almost 60 to 70% of the population has already shifted to being vegetarian.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's
Neha, I'd like to just mention that, how important flax or how important soy or how important tofu is. The product Femoral is actually a natural, standardized, and unique selective estrogen receptor modulator, which is SERM, a class of compounds that act on the estrogen, which is the female hormone receptor. It contains, just to talk about it a little in detail, it contains 322 mg DT56A, which is a tofu extract, and 108 milligrams of flax, and is a natural supplement which is available across 31 countries. So from what you're actually saying, from the nutrition perspective, this actually contains all the natural ingredients which will not harm or affect anybody's health directly or indirectly. It's not like a tablet that we consume. So, considering this particular product, Neha, will maintaining nutrition in perimenopausal phase will actually be helpful before they hit it. Is it extremely important?
Yes, it is very, very important that right in your perimenopausal phase, you start taking care of your nutrition. And if you start supplying with your phytoestrogens also in that phase with your omega-3 fatty acids. So these are the two main important nutrients. And the third one I would say is the calcium supplementation that you should take care during the perimenopausal phase, because these are going to really help you hit the menopause without much of difficulties. There are many women who are well balanced with their nutrition and are with an active lifestyle, exercise. They don't even realize their menopause has come and they've adapted over it.
Correct.
It's very easy to cope for them. And if it's in the perimenopausal phase that you're starting to take all these things, your body is also somewhere prepared. Like you
Correct.
see, you're preparing for a childbirth. During the pregnancy, you have your womb talks, you have those preparation phases that you're eating properly. In the 9th month, in the last trimester especially, you start even having some food which help your dilations. The same way, you're going to go here also. You're starting to prepare yourself. A muscle building doesn't happen for a bodybuilder also within overnight phases, right?
That's true.
There he has a proper on season and off season. Let it be any athlete, he has an off season and on season. He is going to periodize everything. He's going to pre-prepare for things. So that's way it is menopause. Why you just want to say, okay, when it will hit, I will do it. No, you start preparing and it's absolutely just a piece of cake for you.
That's true. Absolutely. I think that was a great piece of advice, or that is a great thing to do. If we start preparing ourselves even mentally and physically by making sure we've got all the supplements, I think it'll become very easy for all the women to be open, adjust, adapt, and go through the phase when you actually hit it. So,
Definitely.
talking about that, Neha, what are the some superfoods to help women during menopause? What do you think they should consume?
Okay, so considering the superfoods, the first and foremost comes your soya during menopause. As I mentioned it earlier also, because of the phytoestrogen getting converted to estrogen.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the first and foremost recommendation I would say. And it could be added through your diet, just maybe through your rotis or some rice, that it could be added along with. Or soybeans can be sprouted also to increase the absorptions. Okay, so the lactose intolerance could look out for soy milk preparations. You could add in soy milk in your daily diet, shifting from a normal milk to soy milk, especially during the perimenopause and the menopausal phase. If you
Hmm.
cannot go for directly soya, you could look out for tofu rather than paneer,
Hmm.
right? So these are
Yeah.
the different options that I would suggest for soy-based products. Secondly,
Okay.
then I would say please include a good fiber in your. The fiber intake would help reduce the body fats, because women tend to gain a lot of weight during this phase because their hormones are changing. High weight would definitely lead to majority of the diseases that are at risk with obesity. Okay, their activity, their power output, everything reduces with high fat percentages. So fiber is very important. Plus, as I explained earlier, the gastric disturbances can also be taken care with the fiber intake. Then I would say calcium is another very important intake required. So that could come through your milk, dairy products, through paneer, there's tofu, there's soybean, there are green leafy vegetables that can be taken care, and fruits along, right? So
Yeah.
that's again very important. Maybe a calcium supplement might be needed if the dietary intake is not sufficient. Because generally, women need is 1,000 milligram of calcium on an average in the daily life. But after the menopausal phase, they require us 1,200 milligram of calcium on a daily intake.
Okay.
So sometimes women cannot fulfill their needs through the dietary intake, so they need to rely on the supplements to keep their bone health in check. Yeah. Then the flax seeds, hemp seeds, they are another very good omega-3 fatty acids, which is very important. As we earlier also mentioned, flaxseed oil is a very good alternative to the fish oils. Yeah. And they are very superior source of omega-3 fatty acids and are active component of omega-3 fatty acids, which can be easily absorbed in your body also then. So because chewing on flax seeds is another issue by women. See, you cannot chew them completely, and if the seeds are not chewed properly, you're not going to get that benefit of flax seeds.
Okay.
So that's why the oil works better. 1 teaspoon of oil can also help, or a supplement can help, as Femoral is doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are along. Then a high protein diet is another important thing, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Neha. So,
Okay.
we've all understood how important it is actually, and we've got some quick notes which are in the chat box. Rakshita's just put them down. If anybody wants to refer or just take a screenshot, please feel free to do that. So now my next question is to Dr. Shaili. How important is hydration? And do you think it's helpful to maintain a good skin during the menopausal phase?
Definitely, hydration is one of the uh, key thing, not only during menopause, but I would say at any age, it is essential to be well hydrated at all times. Like not just water, but like liquids in any form. It helps in detoxifying the body as well, and definitely giving you a very nice glowing skin. But apart from the skin, it really helps in your digestion process, and to cleanse the body from within, because of all the toxins that we are taking, the junk that we eat on and off. So we need to hydrate really well. If simple water may seem boring for a lot of people, you could use infused water. I'm sure Neha can help us give a quick tip on how do you make infused waters and how can we consume that on a regular basis. It not only helps during menopause, but at the same time, gives you that refreshed feeling. And depending on the weather where you're living at that time, you could have different types of liquids to keep you hydrated throughout the time. So hydration is definitely very important. And especially during menopause, if we speak about menopause, the skin starts getting drier, like I mentioned earlier, that because of the drop in your estrogen levels, the skin starts losing its natural moisture levels, and the moisture retaining capacity of the skin really goes down. So we definitely need to hydrate from within as well as from outside. Like external hydration is also extremely important. So consult your dermatologist, get the right product for your skin type. Even if your skin is oily, or some people do develop acne during the menopause. Like I sometimes get people coming to me and say that, doc, all my life I've not had acne, but this is very strange. Like during my teenage, I did not have a acne breakouts, but now during my menopause, suddenly I'm started getting acne, especially in the lower part of the face. So yes, it is not unusual. It's not the commonest skin symptom that you would or a sign that you would see during menopause, but it's not unusual to get acne. It does happen in some people because of the hormone changing in the body. So depending on your skin type, choose the right moisturizer, but you need to moisturize and hydrate your skin from within and outside both.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Kavita, I would just like to add on a little on the hydration. As Shelly said, the skin goes dry during menopause. It's absolutely right, which is a very primary thing that most of the women suffer. They even start getting a scaly skin because of the dryness in the
Hmm.
menopausal phase. But then, along with that, they even suffer a lot of the vaginal dryness. That's a
Hmm.
very unusual thing happening with them physiologically, which they're not even open enough and are quite shy to speak about.
Correct.
And so this is where hydration plays a very important role for them, that if they are well hydrated right from the beginning, from the perimenopausal phase, they start hydrating well, and during the menopausal phase, they have to take utmost care of their hydration, so the vaginal dryness doesn't occur.
Okay.
And their urine controls are also much better, because at this phase they even start losing their muscle control.
Correct.
Yes. So it's very important, because your reproductive system, the whole system there, it's getting disturbed, obviously, which is very closely related there. So that is why it's very important that they take correct care of their hydration. And as Shelly mentioned, that if you're not liking plain water, you could go for many different types of flavors. You could go for infused water, where you could just add in some lime and leaves along, maybe basil or mint leaves. Or you could add in some fruits, apples, orange, or maybe cucumbers coming in, carrots coming in, some herbs like ginger, cinnamon can come in along. You could have some basil seeds coming in. So sabja seeds work very well at this phase, because sabja is something that's going to even control your acidity. It's going to help maintain your pH levels and also work on your vaginal issues, your urine control. So many women, they have issues of leaking of their urines. So they get on better with their urine controls in this phase.
Okay.
So Neha, while we are talking about this urine control phase, have you come across people telling you that, because of this, I am consuming less water now,
Yeah,
which is
definitely.
which is very common too. So what is your opinion on that? Like, how would you tell the clients, how to cope with this situation where they're scared that, okay, I have to travel today, so I'm not going to consume water. So
So, yeah, this is a very, very common issue that women come up during this menopausal phase. And, going to the washroom again and again is a task. And sometimes your clothes getting wet. These are some of the hygienic issues that women suffer. And that's why hydration is very important. And that's how we have to explain them why you need to get your body levels again alkaline. The pH has to go alkaline, which will help the correct urine control. Then you need to hydrate well, which will not make you, if your kidney function is proper, if you're hydrating well, so you won't lose control over it. You have to go for some kind of Kegel exercises also, so that the muscles are getting more, firm.
yeah,
So that's
Kegel
a proper control.
exercises really help post
Yeah,
birth and perimenopausal both times.
both, definitely. So Kegels help a lot. And then Sabja seeds, as I said, they really help in the balance of your urine output. And so one more thing, that, as you said, that people are worried when they're traveling. I agree. It's a very big task, especially in India, when the availability of the washrooms is little less. So that's how I tell my clients, make sure that you're hydrating well before and after your travel. You can reduce on your water intake
During
during
the
the
travel.
travel. Yes, because the availability of the washrooms is less. So people who are at work, they also have a lot of issues that they cannot get out of their desk again and again. So I say, before moving out of your house, please make sure you're drinking 1 liter of water at least.
Right.
Before, in the first 2-3 hours of the day, you drink around 1 liter. And then throughout the day, you could sip in just 1.5 liter of water, sip by sip. And then again, post 6 or 7 p.m. when you're back home, you can sip in around 1.5 liter of water. So that's how you have to. Sometimes I know this is not theoretically correct to just have it up and down, but practicality also has to be noticed. So this is how we take care. Though we would always recommend that there's an even distribution of your water and nutrition throughout the day. But when there are certain circumstances where you just can't avail, we ask them to take care when it's available. So before and after the travel, you can obviously manage.
Okay. Thank you so much, Neha. So, like you all mentioned, that there are certain things that they complain about, like they're bleeding properly or the dryness. Femoral is a product that actually helps to relieve the menopausal symptoms such as hot flushes, night sweats. It reduces joint and muscle pain, improves the quality of sleep, improves the quality of life, and builds the bone density without any negative effects on the breast as well as the uterus. So whatever y'all are mentioning, that the complaints that people come with, this is actually a solution. By consuming a particular product called Femoral that we are talking about right now, it will definitely help them to lessen their pain, or it'll help them to actually be okay in their life and move ahead. without a lot of pain and without being scared of the fact that I'm going to have any, like if you have a tablet, you'll be like, oh, then you feel drowsy or you might just get some other effects. But this product, because it has natural ingredients, it is a supplement which is available, and it will help to solve so many issues that all of us are facing today. So that is the biggest benefit of the product. Now, moving on, Dr. Shaili, how do you think stress of being in menopause affects, or it'll add on to a lot of other skin problems? Does it actually happen?
Yes, so Kavisha, not only skin, but stress does affect everything. Like your entire system can go topsy-turvy when you're in stress. So do not stress about menopause. It's a passing phase. Just tackle it. Uh, Before, like, say, for example, like Neha also mentioned earlier, that say for pregnancy, it's very common that when we are planning a pregnancy, we start taking our supplements, we make sure our weight is under control, we're not excessively obese, we are our folic acid, irons, other nutritional levels are up to the mark, so that as soon as we conceive, the body doesn't suffer the loss of nutrition. So, like we prepare for pregnancy, I think we should all be aware, and around our 40s start preparing for the menopause. Like, have uh, create a warehouse in your system. Do not stress about it. uh, Load your system with the right nutritions. Take care of your skin, take care of your diet, your overall lifestyle. So then this stressful period will not come up where you are so stressed that, oh my god, I'm going through, I will get menopause or I will come into this phase. Because stress will obviously change your hormones again and affect the skin more, and the entire body. It'll affect your sleep, your mood swings will increase if you're under stress. So, and then in turn you'll end up, either binge eating or starving or everything. Like it'll completely change your system. So rather than getting stressed about menopause, my advice will be that we should be prepared about a phase. It's just going to be a couple of years, and I think you're going to be fine. So yes, stress should be tackled. It will to make the skin more dry, more sensitive. It can also trigger conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and get your skin more susceptible to infections from outside. Like skin is the largest organ of our body. Not only aesthetics, but we need to be, uh, skin is kind of a barrier where the skin protects your body from all the viral, fungal, bacterial infections entering to your system. And it is also the reflection, it's a mirror of your inner system, inner well-being. Like your digestive system, if it's doing fine, your skin is going to be fine. If you're detoxed well, your skin is going to have a nice glow and a shine to it. So each system has its effect and reflection on the skin. You could try yoga, meditation, de-stress with some aroma candles or oils, uh, depending on whatever suits you. Probably have a hobby. See, around this age, especially Indian women, we are used to a routine, and around 35, 40, 40 plus, our children have grown up. Your routine changes. Till then you're either taking care of your husband or your children, your work, everything. Your life completely starts changing post that, in your routine as well. So have a hobby, develop a hobby, something that you like. Take out time for yourself. Drawing, painting, just have fun with colors, music, anything. Any of these techniques would help. Have a good sleep, relax, try and not take too much stress before sleeping. Rather than thinking what is bothering you, try and go into a peaceful mode before you sleep.
True. Absolutely. So, considering and talking about sleep, how important is sleep and what should be the ideal number of hours of sleep?
Ideal number of hours would be about 7 to 8 hours average at least. If you can manage about 9 to 10 hours, it's amazing. But practically speaking, 7 to 8 hours is a good amount of sleep that you should look at. Again,
Okay.
going to bed early and on time and waking up early is the, your rhythm, the sleep cycle will be good, and this affects your hormones. So, I have people who are, uh, okay, obviously not at the age of menopause, but in general, if people are working in night shifts or, have a habit that, okay, doctor, मुझे रात को नींद नहीं आती है. I sleep very late. I sleep around 2, 3, but I wake up at 11, so I am getting my sleep. But that is not healthy for your body. You need your sleep at night, because there are certain hormones that are secreted into your system in the darkness, in at night while you are resting. So it is essential. Your regime, your skin regime pre-sleep is very important. Cleansing the face. Again, because the skin is getting dry, do not use a very harsh cleanser. Use a mild cleanser, something that will just enough to take off the dirt and the sweat, and cleanse your pores according to your skin type. You can consult your expert for the same. And cleanse the skin, apply a serum, apply a moisturizer. Moisturize your body as well, not only your face and neck area, because there are a lot of times when you see that people are paying more attention to the face, forgetting about the neck. So you see that the face is fine, there are no signs of aging, but on the neck you will start seeing the lines. So face and neck have to be treated equally. The same product that goes onto your face goes onto the neck. And use a good body moisturizer before you go to bed.
That's great. If you could just suggest like one or two products that you all recommend to your customers or your clients, if you can just put it down in the chat, I think that'll be great.
Definitely. I will put that across in the chat. And at the same time, something that contains hyaluronic acid, retinoids. These are basically products that you should have in your night creams. So when you look at the ingredients of your night creams, especially at this perimenopausal age, you should look at, if you have an oily to combination skin, you should look at retinoids for sure. If not, then use your retinol creams twice a week or thrice a week. Otherwise, you might develop a little bit of flaking. So consider more of hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, vitamin E. These are good ingredients for your night cream, and the serum should contain these. And at the same time, internal supplements of antioxidants, vitamins, collagen, all of this is essential. And according to your requirement, your doctors would be able to help you with it. I shall put down some names in the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much. That'll be of great help. Okay, so Neha, everybody keeps on talking about menopausal belly. But what is exactly menopausal belly and how can we help solve this problem?
So menopausal belly is your fat deposition around your abdomen, especially during your menopausal, perimenopausal and the menopausal phase. So what happens is generally women are a pear-shaped body. During all your life, you would see that women tend to deposit more fat around their hips and their lower body, their thighs and their hips. But it's suddenly during the menopausal phase, they start feeling that how can I have a post-pregnancy belly again? So it looks like that to them. Something that they had already got rid of, sometimes it really comes back again. The reason being, when your estrogen levels drop, there is a fat deposition again around your abdomen area. So this is called as your menopausal belly fat. And it's very important that you don't let this happen. The reason it is going to increase in many of your lifestyle disorders related to your belly fat. When your waist to hip ratio is high, we all know that the risk for the cardiovascular diseases, your diabetes, kidney disorders, everything increases, right? So this belly fat is going to be what is deposited around your lower abdomen and abdomen more. And that's predominantly because of your lower estrogen levels. A high fiber diet, a high protein diet, and a diet rich in healthy fats, but not the saturated fats. It is very important that women reduce on their saturated fat coming from the red meat, from the ghees, and all the animal meat coming in it. They should be looking at a diet that's high in PUFAs and MUFAs, coming in through your seeds, through your healthy seed oils, coming in through MCTs of your coconut oil. Then you can look out for your nut oils. These are your sources of PUFAs and MUFAs. You have to make sure that there's correct healthy fats. There is a good intake of fiber, which will help the fat metabolism. A high protein diet will not only help in gain of muscle mass, but also metabolize fat. They have to make sure that they're not taking in a lot of refined carbs also. You know what, at this stage, when there are a lot of mood swings and hormonal imbalances, they crave for food. Something sweet maybe, or something junk, breads, and all the refined foods. So it's very important that if they have a correct nutrition, their cravings would also stop.
Okay.
They should make sure that they're not binging on all these kind of foods. They should have a correct calcium intake, which will help mobilize the fat as well, but then main that it will help maintain the bone density. Then belly fat would also somewhere be related to their sleep patterns, when they're not sleeping properly, or either they're sleeping too much. Sometimes, yeah. So sometimes women even go into excess lethargy. There are a certain number of people who could go into excess lethargy the whole time because, as Shelly said, their activity routine has changed. They're quite free now. So then the women start sitting more.
Mhm.
So the activity level has definitely dropped down. So the belly fat accumulation is also quite easier for it. Yeah. Insomnia is a major issue, insomnia, right? So where they're staying awake for nights and long nights, they're either reading books or they may be watching some TV, Netflix, something is happening nowadays. All kind of digital media is there to entertain us, right?
True.
So that's happening. That's again a reason for your belly fat. Where I would say the low fat proteins, then tyrosinal milk and healthy omega-3 fats would definitely help you get a sound sleep. And when there is a sound sleep, the secretion of hormones is quite well, which will help manage your muscle to fat ratio.
Okay.
So this belly fat is just gonna add on to health risk, as well as even see, obviously it's a heavy weight. It's the higher weight which your body has to carry. Already your bone density is reducing due to age and menopause, which you have to take care through the diet or the supplementation. If not taken care properly, the belly fat is adding weight on your knees and ankles. And then women complain about their knee pains.
Okay.
So everything is interlinked.
Everything is related to each other. Basically, it's just a cycle, it's just a system. So we all just have to make sure that every organ and everything is taken care of from
Yeah,
inside and from the outside.
very right.
Thank you so much, Neha. So now I would actually want everybody to ask questions if you all have any doubts, if you all have any questions related to any skincare regime that you think that okay, can you all suggest particular things, or you all want to ask questions related to skin issues that you all have faced or anybody has gone through or they're going through, and the diet. Similarly, on the diet side as well, if you all have any questions related to nutrition, more supplements, the names of particular supplements that you all think that we should help with, please feel free to shoot questions. Please ask us questions in the chat box. That will be great so that we can start addressing them one by one. Okay, so we've got a question here. Um, Dr. Sangeeta is asking us a question. Anything that we have for unwanted hair, any particular product that you all can recommend? For facial hair, or any particular product that you all would want to basically recommend for, it can be, it's an open thing. So, Dr. Shaili, any product that you would want to recommend for unwanted hair?
For unwanted hair, I wouldn't say a product would help,
Okay.
but lasers really help well. And for you need to start doing lasers before your hair starts turning gray, because we're talking about the perimenopausal age. We also have to consider the fact that people start getting white hair around this age. So if you're talking about laser, it should happen uh, before the hair starts turning white, because lasers don't work on gray hair. Okay, and another option then in that case would be electrolysis, which really helps in removing your unwanted hair and reducing your unwanted hair growth.
Hmm.
But products, I would not say that I've come across any specific product that would help in reducing the unwanted
Okay.
hair.
Thank you. So we've got another question from Soumya Savla. Most of the time in perimenopausal have food craving. So what should they actually have? What should they binge on?
They could binge on the mixed seeds, that they can keep them roasted handy, because they're
Hmm.
high in fiber, high in this omega-3 fatty acids. So they could look up for mixed seeds like the sesame seeds, the flax seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, so the various seeds, and they could rotate on that. They could look out for some makhanas kept as, munchers. Soya nuts, they're available in so many flavors. You get the lime pepper, you get the jalapeno flavor, the plain salty roasted ones. Then you have many different flavors in that. So you could look out for soya nuts as a muncher, which would help them with the estrogen as well.
Okay.
So these are good munchers for them.
Mantos. Okay. We've got a question from Dr. Sapna. Kindly suggest good brands of moisturizer supplements to prevent hair fall.
So I think she's trying to ask two different questions. Brands for moisturizers. I have already mentioned in the chat that start looking for ceramides and hyaluronic acid as your content in the moisturizers. As far as we're talking about brands, Bioderma is a good brand where it's available globally again, and even in India, it's quite easily available. So they have two types of body moisturizers. One is an intensive balm for excessively dry skin, and I would recommend that that should be used at night. And otherwise, they have another different moisturizer as well, which is not as sticky and greasy as this, and it can be used for all skin types. Another brand is Rapishaj, which is a US based brand. In India, the availability is a little bit of a concern, but for people staying abroad, that is a good brand. Has amazing moisturizer range for all skin types, uh, and we've got very good results with clients who've complained of dry skin, not only for their face but even for the body. Their body moisturizers gives you moisturizer levels for almost up to 18 to 20 hours, so which is quite well retaining. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And
So we've got
for hair fall, also I have mentioned in the chat that you should look for biotin supplements. There are a few products which have cyclical supplementation. Hair Fact and or Fluence is one of the brands that is available in the market. So that has in your body, you're taking different supplements on different days. I'm sure Neha will be able to throw some more light on how cyclical supplementation will help better than rather than taking all the supplements every day.
So these cyclical supplements really help by not creating toxicity in your body. So you know what? You don't know what are your levels. You start popping in so many supplements. Okay, biotin is good. Okay, iron is good. Okay, I need some
Calcium is
protein. I
good.
need vitamin D. I need this. I need that. So there's an n number of list for your hair, which we agree that all the nutrients are important. But do you really need them in such a high amount? Rather, why not take one at a time so that their absorption sites also don't clash? Like we say in our intestine, the absorption sites for iron and calcium are the same. So there's a big, clash between iron and calcium if they taken at the same time. So why not take it on the other days or the other time of the meals? So when you have a cyclic supplementation, it really helps, as in they won't even cause toxicity by the over intake, as well as they won't even let the deficiency happen, and they would keep all your levels in the optimal range.
Thank you so much, Neha. So we've got, okay, so now we're gonna, since we are running out of time, we are just gonna address two more questions quickly. One quick question is from Aditi Kapadia. Um, something for skin tan apart from using sunscreen? Are there any other hacks, or is there something that you all want to recommend apart from the normal sunscreen that's available in the market?
So I would, before addressing to this question, Kavisha, I would like to break a very common myth that we have is कि मैंने sunscreen लगा दिया तो I will not get tanned. So sunscreen is not going to prevent the tan. Your tanning will still happen, probably a little less than if you don't apply. But it creates a screen on your skin, and it kind of protects your skin from the harmful damage of the UV rays and the other lights. Another myth over here is that I'm not stepping out of my house. Okay, I'm sitting in my office. I'm working from home now. Say in COVID times, why do I need a sunscreen? I don't need a sunscreen. So everybody needs a sunscreen, especially perimenopausal. You have to be extremely, regular using your sunscreens. So even if you're sitting indoors, your screens, your cell phones, laptops, yellow lights, all of this has effects of photo aging on the skin. Your skin starts aging faster. You start developing pigmentation. Your skin starts drying faster. So you need to use sunscreen as a protector rather than a preventer from tan. But having said that, what will prevent tanning is antioxidants and supplements from within. Glutathione is a very good master antioxidant as well, which really prevents the tan. Like we've had studies where people have taken glutathione and with groups of people taking glutathione and not taking glutathione supplements, and seen the effects of sun and tanning and the photo damage on the skin. So not only glutathione, but all have your supplements with the good amount of antioxidants in it, and your diet. Sunscreen will just prevent uh, photo aging rather than tanning. And then there are skin lightening creams available which have a little bit of AHA and BHA acids. These are like glycolic acids which help in micro exfoliation of your skin and help in reducing your tan. So there are some creams available in the market which I would suggest that you should consult the doctor first before starting to use them by yourself. But these supplements you can start taking. Even Femoral has amazing contents which will prevent in your uh, aging of the skin and pigmentation of the skin, like I mentioned.
Great. Thank you so much,
So
Shaili.
I agree to Shelly completely, because if your nutrition is balanced, so your tanning would definitely decrease, your skin glow goes more better, and it's the best that you have a correct nutrition along with the correct supplementation of glutathione and vitamin C. That is going to help a lot for your skin health.
Yeah.
Correct.
So vitamin C through your fresh fruits and vegetables, amla, lemons, all your citrus fruits are very high in vitamin C, guavas, and you could even look out for some vitamin C shots or supplements if needed. But actually speaking, vitamin C supplements are not much needed apart from if your diet is good.
Correct. Okay, so we've got the last question in line right now by Dr. Sangeeta. She's saying Cap Biozil as collagen supplement. How long can you take it for?
So as a supplement, I would suggest any supplement that you take a minimum of 3 months is the time duration that I would usually recommend the clients, depending on in case they have any deficiencies or if they are in the menopausal age, they need the collagen for their skin and other health issues. So in that case, 3 months is it's like when you're taking your iron, calcium, also your doctor would prescribe the supplements for a period of about 90 days is what is recommended. Post that, you can, depending on the requirement and your major concern, you can consult your doctor and either taper the dosage or make it every alternate days or once in a week, depending on what your concern is. But 3 months definitely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Shaili. Okay, do we have any more questions, or now we're gonna end this? Okay, so thank you everyone once again for being a part of this webinar. I hope it was valuable. We've got the two experts, Neha Mittal and Dr. Shaili Sangvi. please go follow their pages, check them out. Their Dr. Shaily's handle is called as the Wedding Clinic. You can go follow her page for some expert tips, some tricks. What do you all want? What would you all? You can ask her questions on Instagram page. You can get in touch with her. um Neha Mittal page is called as Nutrition with Neha. For anything related to nutrition, please feel free to get in touch with her, ask her any questions. If you all have any deficiencies, or if you all want to know how can I consume, or from what product, or sorry, not product, but food, supplement, how can I get more vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, calcium, anything that's related to food, please feel free to get in touch with Neha Mittal. And thank you so much, everybody, again, for being a part of this webinar, which is about talking menopause. The aim is to get comfortable with the entire menopausal phase. We should be open to talk about it. We should be open to have more conversations. If we're going through something, let's face it, let's accept it, and let's make sure that we're not cribbing over it or crying over it. We'll start taking supplements, start taking care. All of us have just not learned to started walking. We've all fallen down so many times. So you all don't want to fall, or you all don't want to go to that level by, actually having a breakdown during a menopausal phase. So let's prepare ourselves for that. Like, instead of having a breakdown, or instead of actually having negative thoughts and attracting the negativity instead of the positive vibes. So let's become open, and we can always have supplements like Femoral, which is available in the market. It is a natural supplement. It is not a tablet. So let's try, at least we can use it. We can see the benefit. Let's experience it. So, because nobody can say anything before they experience it. So let's experience that product, and I'm sure everybody will be thanking, saying that, oh, this is an amazing product, and everybody will recommend this product to their friends or family or across. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Kavisha. Thank you, Femoral, for this platform where we could share our views on menopause today.
Thank you
Wish
so
you
much,
all
Shaili.
a very happy World Menopause Day once again.
Yes,
Thank you, Kavishi.
absolutely.
Thank you, Femoral, for having us
Thank you.
here. It was a great honor to be here. And happy menopausal day. The most important thing that people need to be aware and start speaking openly now.
Correct.
Thank you for the support.
Let's hopefully, like how we've got the breast cancer month, let's have
Yes.
that. Let's have that aim. Let's have a color that we all associate with, like how pink is
Yes.
associated with breast cancer. Let's make sure that now we become so open about these things that by the time a lot of teenagers, when they reach that level, they should be okay with it. Like, everything's normal,
Yeah,
everything's good, and it's great life. We're not going to be
definitely.
complaining about it anymore.
Lovely, and hope to see that awareness soon.
Yes.
Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
great. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody. Thank you, all the doctors. Thank you, all the participants who've actually removed time from their daily schedule and they've attended this session.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.